I think it's safe to say that I am a Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse fan, without a shadow of a doubt. I don't think there's any denying that. None whatsoever. So I push that back in there. Especially when you go by what I have here. All these collectible Mickey plushes. This set that I got from my former job. Yeah, my former job actually was, one of the retail stores that really got into celebrating Mickey's birthday recently. His 80th, well, not 80th, 90th birthday. Yeah, really got into that. And they were selling plushes galore, including the set I just showed you. But the reason I bring all this up is recently I watched Disney Dan's evolution of the Mickey Mouse costume the video he did back in July. And I'll say this, it's very intriguing to see how far, Disney itself, along with Walt when he was alive and even afterwards, how far they went in really trying to, improve and evolve the costume throughout the years, throughout the decades and generations, if you will. I mean, the fact that we see that it originally started as a vaudeville act, as two vaudeville actors, actors and actress, a couple, if you will, a vaudeville couple, and basically took the inspiration from the original Walt Disney comic cartoons, as they were called, like Steamboat Willie and Plain Crazy and all that. And they decided to create costumes of Mickey and Minnie for them to perform in on vaudeville, which obviously got the attention of Walt. And basically he, I guess, it got his attention, and he was able to bring them on board to be, part of the company in some capacity. And basically the rest is history. But like I said, it's really intriguing to see the evolution, if you will, of the costume from its beginnings, from its origins to what it is now. I mean, the fact that, the fact that we were always curious, okay? We were always curious because we saw these pictures of some of the first costumes they did. And we were always curious as to why everybody was so frightened of the Mickey and Minnie costumes, mostly the Mickey one, during the opening days of Disneyland back in 1955. And to find out that basically it was all because the Mickey Mouse they had to use was the Ice Capades Mickey Mouse that they used for that show, because Walt had licensed his characters out to be part of that, to get them out on tour and to promote, the company and the characters and everything. Basically, what Dan said in the video is, Walt obviously didn't think about, while he was building Disneyland, the fact that they would need a Mickey Mouse or a Minnie Mouse out there when the land opened, when the theme park opened. So they had to call upon, basically, like I said, the Ice Capade actors and the Ice Capade costumes to come in and be the Mickey and Minnie for that opening day, for that opening week, as well as for the ABC broadcast that was done to basically showcase the opening of the theme park itself. So, yeah, again, like I was saying, we're always wondering where that picture of what people call, mutilated Mickey or, dark Mickey came from. Well, there's your answer. Because, again, that's one of the first Mickey Mouse theme park costume characters in existence. In fact, it was the first one at Disneyland ever. And it wasn't even supposed to be part of Disneyland because it was part of the Ice Capades, part of the Ice Capades, if you will. And the reason it was mutilated, kind of had that mutilated look, as they would call it, or as Dan called it, was mainly because they had to put eye holes all over the head so that the skaters could see what they were doing. Not anticipating that, this might be utilized for something outside of the Ice Capades than just, skating and, putting on shows and stuff in arenas and buildings where when you're in the audience, when you're in, the bleachers and all that, in the stands, you can't really tell whether or not the costume is, chopped up in the face, if you will, because, like I said, the person has to see out. So, the video was really intriguing. Like I said, to see the evolution, from its origins, where it began to where it is now. But there was one thing that he touched upon that I found intriguing and interesting as well. The fact that back in the mid-2000s, they introduced a new version of Mickey that was only for meet and greets behind the scenes, for shows, whatever the case may be, and that was the Talking Mickeys. And not just the Talking Mickeys, but the Talking Minnies, the Talking Donalds, the Goofies, the Daisies, the Plutos, although he'd probably bark more than anything, the Clarabelles, you get the idea. Basically, the animatronic theme park, costumed theme park characters. And he brought this up because over the years, from 2006 and onward, you would start seeing more of these characters appear in the park. Instead of just in stage shows or special behind-the-scenes meet and greets and all that, you would see them appear more so throughout the parks, whether it's Disneyland, Walt Disney World, or wherever, you would see them. And you get to interact with them. And, he said some of the first times that happened, like with the meet and greets, you would have people, behind a mirror, a see-through mirror, to make sure that, the way they were radio controlling the animatronic costume that the costumee was in, the costumee was in, I can't think of the name right now, the actor or actress was in, they had to make sure it was moving right and correctly and, basically interacting without a miss. In other words, not messing up or anything, not delaying. And sorry for the interruption, but anyway, like I said, basically he was talking about the Talking Mickeys and all that, and how basically they were all over from 2006 and moving forward, they were appearing more so in the parks, not just not just for the shows or the in the meet and greets and everything, but all over. And they were interacting with the guest. And basically, he said this all started the interaction with the guest, and this is what I was trying to say before the phone rang. That basically, they would have somebody, during the first meet and greets, like behind the scenes for Mickey's Magical Show and all that. They would have people behind the scenes behind a see-through mirror to make sure, the interactions with the guests were done correctly. There was no delays, stuff like that. And, that's how it first began. But he actually said that one of the original first times they allowed the characters to move, the lips and the mouth was with the costumees, with the actors inside, the actors and actresses inside, using buttons in the gloves and all that or in the hands to basically make the eye movements and everything go. And then they decided just to go with the radio control from then on in. And again, like I said, that started with the meet and greets of Mickey's Magical Show, with people looking from a see-through mirror, and then they obviously moved up to a satellite kind of radio control with the stage shows and everything and all that. And then finally they went back to a more improved version after they gave Mickey a facelift, as he calls it, when they opened Shanghai Disneyland. They decided to not only give Mickey a facelift, but about a year or so later, they decided to also give that facelift the animatronic facial treatment. But this time it was an improved version as to when the actors and actresses were controlling it. Well, this time they could control it again, apparently, but have a better job of being able to interact with the guests all over the park and talk with them and all that. But then, as Dan put it, for some odd reason, Disney took that away. And now you only see the talking versions of the characters during shows and parades and all that. You don't see them anymore meeting and greeting with them. Instead, you just see them like you normally would. And that's, basically not speaking or anything. They're just waving and all that. So, and giving you hugs and everything. So that's basically what what happened. That's why apparently, you don't see people taking pictures or that much with any more talking animatronics of, characters walking around the parks, because of the fact that obviously Disney didn't like it. And I don't know what the reason is. Dan doesn't know the reason. I'm guessing maybe because, well, one of the things he's assuming that the reason Disney did it was because it confused guests. Like, we know throughout Disneyland, Walt Disney World and all that, you're going to have various Mickeys and Minnies and all them scattered about. Like, you could be in Mickey's Toontown talking with Mickey Mouse, and someone else, maybe your family member, could be in California Adventure, where you're in Toontown, talking with Mickey Mouse, and you're both interacting with Mickey, just talking and all that, and that might confuse people. Maybe that's what Disney thought. I don't know. Or maybe what I can assume is perhaps they unexpectedly, that's the word I'm trying to come up with. They unexpectedly gave more control and freedom to the costumees to be able to speak for the characters. In other words, you'd hear the characters' voices and everything, but maybe they got to put in, what they wanted to say and all that, so it feels more natural talking to the characters. I don't know. But yeah, unfortunately, you don't see those characters anymore, those versions of the characters, except in parades and shows and everything. And he wants them to come back, and I honestly do agree. I think they should come back. I think Disney should reconsider and bring them back. I mean, I know people are saying that Bob Chapek being in charge is probably not the best decision Disney has made, because this guy has been known for trying to save money and be very skimmish, if you will, or whatever, very cheap, if you will. So I don't know, with him in charge, we may or may not see that. But here's my honest opinion, though. Chapek being in charge or not, and this is what I look at, because apparently Chapek, from the sounds of it, just through various reports, he's not long for Disney. Just the way things are coming out, it sounds like him being, the CEO and everything right now, it's not long term. Like, basically a lot of people are guessing he's going to be gone before you know it. And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he is gone before 2028. And the reason I say that is because 2028 is Mickey's 100th birthday. And you got to believe that Disney's going to go all out with that. They're going to go all out with that. And, my assumption, my guess of how far they'll go all out with that is, I believe as we approach his 100th birthday, and they're going to start the celebration a lot earlier, just to, build up to the day that he was created, which would mark his actual 100th birthday. You got to believe that, like I said, they're going to pull out all the stops, and I will not put it past Disney to bring back the animatronics, the animatronic costume characters, that walk around the park and interact with the guests. I would not put it past them. I wouldn't. I would not put it past them whatsoever, because I could see them doing it. I could see that in celebration of Mickey's 100th birthday, they will bring those characters back. I really do. And, I think once they do, everybody's going to be happy. But the reason I think they're going to bring them back in time for the 100th birthday is mainly it'll have been enough time. It'll be enough. Basically, what I'm trying to say is enough time would have passed that would allow them to improve on these animatronics, so that way they can understand, not understand, but kind of have an idea of where to place them, during certain times of the day throughout the park, which, they probably should have done in the first place. I guess as Disney Dan in his opinion, looked at it, from his speculation, it could have, led to less confusion. But anyway, I think they're going to bring them back, and I think the reason they're going to bring them back around this time, as I was saying, is enough time would have passed that now that basically, they've either technologically improved on them, make them a lot better, and less conversational, like they'll talk and everything, but they won't be like, oh yeah, no problem, do. No, basically be like, oh yeah, just say certain words here and there. But I also think what they're going to do is they're going to plan it out to where at certain times, like right now it's 4:48, 18 minutes after 4:30. Like let's say at 4:30, the talking Mickey has to be in California Adventure in a certain area. And that maybe at 5:30, he has to disappear so that a talking Mickey could show up, as soon as you enter Disneyland, and he's one of the first characters you meet and greet. So, maybe that's what they're going to work out, along with the improved technology that they'll put into these animatronics for the costumes. And, but his thing, that's just my opinion, but it's what I feel. It's what I feel is going to happen. Because, again, Disney, they love to go all out for for big Mickey Mouse birthdays. They went all out for his 75th. They went all out somewhat, not as much, but they went all out for his 80th. They went all out for his 90th, but not as much as his 75th. So we could guess that when the 100th celebration comes up, the 100th birthday for the character comes up, that basically they're going to go completely all out. They're going to bring back the animatronics. They're going to probably start a year or a year and a half early, and basically build to the very day that, he was created, he was born. And I think along the way, we're going to get a lot of announcements, pertaining to Mickey's 100th birthday. And you got to remember, it's not just Mickey's 100th birthday either, it's Minnie's as well. That's right, Minnie herself is turning 100. So to me, not only are you going to get a big old celebration for both of them, but you're going to get, like I said, the animatronics meeting and greeting with the folks all over the park. You have them coming back. But also, like I said, I think you're going to get a lot of announcements pertaining to the celebration. And I think one of the announcements that fans are going to hope to hear is potentially we will finally get a Mickey Mouse movie or some kind of animated movie or a special of some kind where we officially on screen, not just by word of mouth, but on screen, get the marriage of Mickey and Minnie. That I believe is one of the main announcements people are waiting for. But, but again, to me, I think as we reach the 100th birthday, that will be when we see those, animatronic costumes come back and, be about the park about the parks, I should say, not the park, but about the parks across the, world, Disneyland, Disney World, Shanghai Disney, Tokyo Disney, Disneyland Paris. I think we will see them out and about around the world, but the way I think they will make it more, less confusing, if you will, is by basically timing when you see certain animatronics of the characters like Mickey and Minnie, Donald and Daisy and all of them show up in certain parts of the theme parks. And then after that time is up, they disappear or they go away. And then in another section of the park, they show up again, or at least another version of them shows up again. But that's just what I feel is going to happen, and that's my opinion on it. But what do you think? What are your thoughts on the fact that, Disney took away the talking animatronic costumes? Do you think as we approach, the 100th birthday in 5.5 years, that's right, 5.5 years will be the 100th birthday, or not 5.5, but 6.5, yes, 6.5 years. And it's going to come quicker than you think. It's going to come quicker than you think, and I believe the celebration to that 100th birthday will begin in late, and this is the truth, late 2026. That's what I believe. But what do you guys think? Do you think by the time we get ready to celebrate the 100th birthday of Mickey that we'll start seeing them show up? Do you think the celebration will start early and, pretty much conclude on the day he was created? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts overall? And do you think we'll get any kind of announcement, pertaining to both Mickey and Minnie potentially on screen officially having a wedding? What are your thoughts? Comment down below, live chat during the premiere, like the video, check out the Teespring store, as well as check me out at Patreon at BW Roses, as well as check me out on Female BW Roses, and at BW Roses discussions on all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. And that's about it, guys. I do apologize if I rambled a little bit and sounded like I repeated myself. This is what happens, as I always say, this is what happens when you do things unscripted. And, you think about what you're going to say off the top of your head as you're filming. But again, let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll talk to y'all later.